The 2016 NFL season is finally here, and this is the Man vs. Madden challenge. This year I'm putting my NFL predictions up against Madden to see which one ends up being more accurate. I'll leave it to the internet to hold me accountable when I'm completely wrong in a couple months. Let's get to it. So the smell of optimism is in the air for 32 NFL franchises. Times are changing, and after years of being the respective divisions' punching bag, the Jaguars and Raiders are trendy picks this year to be halfway decent teams. Even Browns fans think their arrow is pointing up, with RG3 coming in at quarterback and Josh Gordon on his umpteenth chance at wide receiver. Now this is the first time I've ever done such an in-depth prediction of the NFL season, and honestly, this is an awful idea. With the ever-evolving landscape that is the NFL, I really don't expect to get half of these picks right. I've had a little bit of success with this in the past, so you guys can feel free to mention me on Twitter at NFLRT and let me know how I unjustly picked against your team this season and you can't believe that I doubted them. I have a good sense of humor. I like to have fun with these, so you guys go ahead and take these lightheartedly and try to enjoy them, and let's just get ready for a fun NFL season. I went week by week, predicted who I thought would win each game, and even factoring in bye weeks and strength of schedule and whatnot. At first glance, without looking at any schedules, my Super Bowl prediction would be something quick and easy like Colts versus Packers. But I was actually surprised when I went week by week at the teams that ended up in the Super Bowl with these predictions. Keep in mind, these predictions are assuming teams stay, for the most part, healthy. We saw how losing a starting quarterback can take a 12-win team and make them a 12-loss team in one season with the Cowboys and Tony Romo. This is actually my third attempt at doing this year. I tried to start in the beginning of preseason, and then you see the injury to Tony Romo, you see the injury to Teddy Bridgewater. Then on top of that, you saw the Vikings trade for Sam Bradford. I wanted to wait until the last possible moment to do these predictions so that I could factor in every possible scenario and outcome and variable going into the season to make these as accurate, in my opinion, as they possibly can. I tried to take everything into consideration when making these picks, for example, bye weeks, primetime matchups, games in London, etc. These predictions are how I think the 2016 versions of these teams will do this year, not how I think the 2015 versions of these teams would do if they were playing each other again this year. It's a new year with new teams, and if you're picking games based on last season,
gonna have a bad time.
I'd really like to do another one of these after the first month of real football, because so much can change in those first few weeks of the season. So if we can get this video to 20 likes by then or so, I'll do another video and we'll do like a after the first month recap of the predictions. Do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, make sure you come back and check out these videos because I'm going to have some cool stuff in store for this NFL season. In my first couple attempts of this video, I was going to break down week by week and show you guys every single pick that I made, but out of the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it and show you the final season standings. So I've got the Steelers dominating the NFL with the lethal passing game of Ben Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown, winning the AFC North, and with the Bengals taking a slight step back this year. The Colts are able to maintain their grip on the AFC South, but the other teams are nipping at their heels, and I expect another team to win this division in 2017. In the AFC East, the Bills were able to capitalize on the 4-game suspension of Tom Brady and have finally dethroned the Patriots by means of a tiebreaker. I know this is going to upset a lot of people, but it's just going to be hard for this team to make up for the loss of Tom Brady, and it's going to take some time for the offense to start clicking after a month with Jimmy Garoppolo. The AFC West is going to be a dogfight this year. I think the Kansas City takes a little while to get rolling, but they ultimately take the division. The Broncos are starting over with a new quarterback. Thankfully, they got rid of Mark Sanchez. My first predictions had them doing much worse with Mark Sanchez at quarterback. So Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch should help them get a couple extra wins this season and just continue to rely on running game and defense. They're going to miss the playoffs this year, but the Raiders have turned things around, and I have them making the playoffs this year as a wild card team. The battle for the North is going to be such a classic, but without Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Bradford coming in for the Vikings, I just don't see it happening. The Packers are going to run away with the NFC North, and it's not even going to be a competition for them. The Packers should be one of the better teams in the league this year, so look for them to go deep into the playoffs. This might be breaking news to you guys, but the Panthers will win fewer games in 2016 than they did in 2015. The important thing is that they'll continue to dominate their division. Jameis Winston, however, is going to take a big leap forward this year towards becoming an elite quarterback in this league. The Falcons are going to continue to be a middle-of-the-road team. Matt Ryan is very average, and that team will continue to be very average with him. The Saints have really botched their salary cap, leaving not a lot of talent on this roster. I think that Drew Brees' final years are going to be kind of wasted in New Orleans. Consider me a victim to the Dak Prescott hype. I believe that he can hold down the fort with Romo nursing his broken back, unlike the backups they previously had in Dallas. The Giants really upgraded their defensive line this year, but they continue to neglect their offensive line, which is going to be a problem once again in these close games. The Redskins overachieved in 2015, and the Eagles mailed it in the season already when they traded Sam Bradford and are prepared to take their rookie lumps with Carson Wentz as he adjusts to the NFL game. The NFC West is going to feature two intense battles this year. The Cardinals and Seahawks, they're going to be battling for the #1 overall seed in the NFC. Meanwhile, the 49ers or Rams are going to be battling for the #1 overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. Alright, so those are my predictions for the final standings in each division. Now we're on to the playoffs. The Patriots are finally rolling now, and then they go ahead and they show their dominance on the Bills by beating them on the road in a playoff game. With Tony Romo back, the Cowboys take care of business against the Giants at home. The Chiefs' defense is on fire at this point. Justin Houston's back, and they dominate the Raiders. The Panthers' defense is just lacking a little swagger this year, and the Seahawks take care of them on the road. In this offensive shootout, the Steelers come out on top. The Seahawks game against the Panthers will just be way too physical for them to then go into Lambeau Field in the wintertime and beat the Packers. The Colts don't need to come back this time in the playoffs against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs' offense just holds them back too much to be able to top the Colts. The Cardinals' defense is just too much for the Cowboys to handle. They've got the pieces in the secondary and their ability to shut down the run. The Steelers' high-powered offense is just a bad matchup for the Colts' defense. The Cardinals are the only team that could go into Lambeau in January and go toe-to-toe with the Packers this season. So that leaves us Steelers versus Cardinals in Super Bowl 51. This rematch of Super Bowl 43 features a Steelers team with a potent offense that makes up for their lack of talent on defense. This isn't the steel curtain your grandpa talks about. This is a team that's going to pound the rock with Le'Veon Bell, and just when you've had enough, Antonio Brown takes the top off the defense. But this is a Cardinals team that is even better than the Super Bowl 43 team and one of the more well-rounded teams in recent history. Their hybrid defense finally has all the pieces to make a championship run and matches up well with the Steelers' high-powered offense. On top of that, their offense is efficient enough to keep up with the Steelers' triplets. These two teams have had realistic Super Bowl aspirations for a few years now, but injuries have stood in their way. If they stay healthy, these should be the two most talented teams in the NFL in 2016. I am predicting that Cardinals head coach Bruce Arians gets a win over his old team and gives the Cardinals their first Super Bowl win in team history. So who do you think is going to win Super Bowl 51? Let me know your 2016 NFL predictions in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter at NFLRT. Alright, so really quickly I'm going to run through my predictions for the NFL awards, and then we're going to move on to the Madden simulation. Offensive Player of the Year, Antonio Brown. Defensive Player of the Year, Khalil Mack. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Ezekiel Elliott. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Miles Jack. Comeback Player of the Year, Jordy Nelson. Coach of the Year, Bruce Arians. MVP, Andrew Luck. Now let's compare my predictions with the Madden simulation. I made these rosters as accurate as possible, taking out guys like Teddy Bridgewater, Tony Romo, and I even benched Tom Brady for 4 games. Right out of the gate, you can see that Madden doesn't even have the Steelers making the playoffs, while I had them in the Super Bowl. But it looks like even Madden simulations agree that the Browns are going to suck once again this year. In the AFC South, Madden predicts the Titans to make a leap in Marcus Mariota's second season and win the division, while my predicted winner, the Colts, only wins 7 games. Madden doesn't like the Bills as much as I do this season, but for some crazy reason predicted that the Patriots will tie not once but twice. The AFC West was a dogfight in this Madden simulation also, with the Chiefs, Raiders, and Broncos all making the playoffs. The Lions fared much better in this Madden simulation than the 4 wins I gave them, but the NFC North still belongs to the Packers. One of the biggest differences in our predictions is with the Falcons, who I predict a 7-9 record and Madden has them winning 12 games. The Cowboys still win the NFC East in this Madden simulation, while the Eagles doubled the number of wins I gave them. And while I stand confidently behind my prediction that the Cardinals will win the Super Bowl this year, Madden only sees them fit for 6 wins this year, but somehow the Rams get 7 more wins than I predicted and make the playoffs. Alright, that's it for the regular season records, but before we move on to see who Madden predicts in the Super Bowl, let's quickly check out the Pro Bowl rosters. After simming through the playoffs and to the Super Bowl, Madden landed on a Chiefs vs. Falcons matchup for Super Bowl 51. After simming the Super Bowl, Madden predicts that the Kansas City Chiefs will win Super Bowl 51. That's it for the Man vs. Madden 2016 NFL predictions. Let me know in the comments below which prediction you think is more likely of happening in the upcoming season, me or Madden. Either way, these predictions should be fun to revisit in a couple months to see if either prediction were even close to being accurate. Before you go, please don't forget to hit that like button, and if you want to see more NFL related videos in the future, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and good luck to everyone's football team this fall.